Hello, everyone. Welcome to This Day. Happy Friday. It is May 19th. Now, we just have a reminder for you that at 9 o'clock this morning is the third new resident orientation. So if you RSVP'd, info at lagunawoodsvillage.com, go ahead and show up in the boardroom. All right, on our show today, we have Dr. John Hovnessian from Harvard Eye Associates, who always has some great information for us. Sports Corner with Cole Young, and then we have Elise Rothrock, who's going to tell us all about the brand new Village Breeze that just dropped this week. All right, let's go ahead and tell you a little bit about our weather. Well, we are looking at partly sunny, partly cloudy skies for today as well into the weekend and early next week. 70-58, 73-57, 73-59, 69-58, and 67-57. If you are traveling, take a look at these numbers. At the beaches, we are looking at 70-60, 70-61, 71-57. In the mountains, 70-43, 68-42, 66-40. And I wanted to let you know that Big Bear and Mammoth both will be experiencing thunderstorms throughout the weekend. Now, if you're heading into Palm Springs, it's 101, and Las Vegas, 97. Our sunrise this morning was at 5:48, and our sunset will be at 7:48. And this is a beautiful shot of Half Moon Bay up in Northern California. So certainly a very nice beach that you could visit this summer. And as a reminder, the lottery is going on right now for reservations. Reserve your clubhouse spot for 2024. Pick up your lottery tickets in the recreation office or email a reservation request to recreation@vmsinc.org. The deadline to do this is June 15th, and those that have done that will be notified September 1st. All right, when we come back, we'll have Harvard Eye Associates, so stay tuned.
At Harvard Eye Associates,
We are committed to your vision care.
and quality of life.
It's a commitment we don't take lightly.
Our trusted team of doctors provides specialized eye care using state-of-the-art technology.
We deliver what matters to you.
And your family.
Harvard Eye Associates, the future of vision today.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Dr. John Hovnessian, who is here on behalf of Harvard Eye Associates. Well, welcome back.
Great to see you, Lisa. It's good to be here.
Well, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it. And an interesting subject, because I don't think we really think about this, especially, well, I certainly didn't when I had children. And now we're looking at potentially having problems with eyesight if you don't have enough sunshine. Is that what that article is saying?
There's a lot of interesting developments that are happening and that we're discovering, and particularly since the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And one is that nearsightedness is becoming a real epidemic globally in children. And now 40% of kids in the US age 6 to 19 are nearsighted. And in Asia, the number is twice as high. It's almost 80% of kids are nearsightedness.
Oh, now what is causing this?
So a number of things. First of all, maybe we should discuss what nearsightedness is. Nearsightedness happens when the eye is effectively too long for the way it focuses. Another way to think of it is how you see. So if you can see up close pretty clearly without glasses, but you have a hard time seeing things far away, you can't see road signs, that's a good indication you're nearsighted, right? And this can happen, usually it develops at a fairly young age in our childhood or teenage years, and then carries on all our life unless we have surgery that corrects it.
Right.
But we think it's a problem of growth of the eye. And that can be a problem not just because we need to wear glasses. Glasses or contact lenses or surgery can correct nearsightedness, but the problem is it's also associated with other problems. Retinal detachment is a common occurrence that happens because as the eye grows too long, it may, the tissues become sort of elongated and thinned, and it can lead to a number of problems in the back of the eye, including a type of macular degeneration that happens in nearsighted people.
Oh, interesting. That is, and you wouldn't think it, I mean, I guess like I said earlier, I wouldn't have thought that it would start as young as your kids.
Yeah, age 6, I mean, we're seeing kids that are more and more nearsighted across our society. So why is it happening? We certainly think that screens have something to do with it. We also think that not being outdoors enough has something to do with it. And so some of the recommendations that we're making are to have children spend no more than 2 hours a day on screens. Now that's tough when they're in school, right? Because in school they're on screens a lot, and when they get homework, it's usually on a screen.
Right.
But the other element is to probably spend at least 2 hours a day outside. And the reason for that is kind of twofold. Number one, the sunlight, the broad spectrum of bright light, drives the production of dopamine that seems to stop the overgrowth of the eye, seems to inhibit the development of nearsightedness.
Interesting.
And the other thing is that when we read for prolonged periods of time, it's driving this process in the eye for kids that causes the eye to grow. It's like it's a compensating mechanism for the eye to grow. But when you're outdoors, there's lots of distractions that make you look up. What's that bird doing? What's the dog doing? And so there's kind of they describe a 20-20-20 rule to maintain your 20-20 vision. So every 20 minutes, spend 20 seconds looking at least 20 feet away. That's the 20-20 rule. So every 20 minutes, 20 seconds looking 20 feet away, or more than 20 feet away. So that allows your eye to relax its muscles of what we call accommodation. So we lessen that drive toward nearsightedness. And when you're outside with kids, it kind of just happens by itself, whether you do something about it or not.
Right. Now, if the children are outside, does it make sense for them to wear sunglasses, or should they not?
Great question. If they're facing bright light, yes. But if they're in a shaded area where they can comfortably read, without too much brightness, then it's not absolutely necessary. So,
all right.
Right.
So how does it differ? Like, for instance, I know if you're reading a book versus looking at your screen, is it because of that light that's in the screens that's causing the issue?
Yeah, well, it's probably not the light, it is probably the distance. And the same can be true for reading a book as well. It's just that kids don't usually read paper books. I don't think there's anything magical about a screen versus a book that makes a big difference. But so limiting that reading time, limiting that usually screen time, probably makes the biggest difference.
Which is the hardest thing, because your kids come home from school and what do they want to do? They want to play the games.
That's right. Yeah, I have a 13-year-old, and he would spend all his time on screens. If we let him. And
so we'll just have to go to the old-fashioned situation where if the children come to visit, take them outside to go do something, and then they can play with their games.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, kick them out. And some people have in their homes, they have screen-free zones. So here is a room where you can't use your screen. We're that way at the dinner table for sure. The minute a phone comes out, my wife comes down hard on that.
Yes, good. That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
It is indeed. So we're paying attention to each other rather than our little rectangles.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's something we've always tried, but I think that's a good idea to get outside, no matter what. Even for your eyesight, for your health,
you bet.
All sorts of things. So
you bet.
So a little bird told me something about you.
Oh.
And I am very happy to accommodate you and say congratulations.
Oh.
You were the recipient of the Ophthalmologist 2023 Power List.
Yeah,
and I think that's the 100 most influential people worldwide in eye care from a UK publication called The Ophthalmologist.
Yeah, thanks.
So did you physically receive the award?
Well, I received it by notification, I guess. So there wasn't a ceremony or a plaque or anything like that so much as just recognition. It's nice because it's a recognition of my peers. It's the greatest honors when our peers recognize us. Yeah. But I'm surrounded by just I'm so grateful for the wonderful trust and confidence our patients have put in us. over the years, and also for my colleagues. You know, the folks I work with, not just at Harvard Eye, but beyond. Ophthalmology is a wonderful profession, and we have here in Orange County the Silicon Valley of eye care. So much great new technology that we get to offer our patients.
Right.
So it's a real pleasure and an honor to be recognized in that way. And thank you.
You're welcome. Well, it's well deserved. You're always a wealth of information, and I'm sure you share that information, you know, around the world.
I tried to. Thanks very much.
You're welcome, and congratulations.
Thanks.
If you want more information about anything that Harvard Eye is doing, you can always go to their website, which is harvardeye.com, or you can call them at 949-951-2020.
It's another beautiful weekend and another weekend full of sports. I'm Cole Young, and the Final Four teams are set for the NBA. Our hometown Los Angeles Lakers took down the defending champion Golden State Warriors 122-101 in Game 6 last Friday to advance to the Western Conference Finals. The Lakers started this season 2-10 and completely rearranged their roster midway through the season, so it's a pretty incredible feat that they're now just 4 wins away from reaching the finals. They became just the 4th team in NBA history to be that many games below 500 and reach the conference finals since the 1970-71 season. The number 7 seeded Lakers went on the road to play the West's top seed, the Denver Nuggets, in Game 1 on Tuesday. The Nuggets handedly took down Phoenix in Game 6, winning 125-100. Nikola Jokic has been unstoppable so far this postseason, and Tuesday night against the Lakers was no different. Despite being down by as many as 20 points at a couple moments, the Lakers were able to trim the lead down to just 4 behind Anthony Davis's 40-point performance. But the center for the Nuggets, Jokic, proved to be too much for LA to handle. Jokic compiled his 3rd straight triple-double this postseason by the 3rd quarter and finished with 34 points, 21 rebounds, 14 assists, and 2 blocks to help the Nuggets take a 132-126 win at Ball Arena. Game 2 in Denver was last night, and the Nuggets earned their 2nd straight victory at home, making the series 2-0. It's been an exciting series so far, and Game 3 will be back in LA tomorrow night at 5:30 p.m. on ESPN. Over in the East, Jimmy Butler scored 24 points, Bam Adebayo added 23, and the Miami Heat are headed back to the Eastern Conference Finals after topping the New York Knicks 96-92 in Game 6 last weekend. The Heat are headed to the conference finals for the 10th time overall, the 7th time in the last 13 years, and the 3rd time in the past 4 seasons. And they headed to Boston Wednesday night to take on the Celtics. Boston was able to earn their way into the Eastern Conference Finals after a 51-point performance by Jason Tatum and a 112-88 win in Game 7 against the 76ers last Sunday. The Celtics fell short to the Warriors in last year's final series, so they're looking to redeem themselves and move past the Heat into the finals. Game 1 of the Heat and Celtics was Wednesday night, and the Heat were able to secure a win on the road. Game 2 will be tonight at 5:30 on TNT, and Game 3 will be on Sunday at 5:30, also on TNT. A fun fact about the conference finals, the exact 4 teams that reached the conference finals in 2020 are back again 3 years later. That season saw the Lakers win a championship against the Miami Heat, which was my predicted finals matchup for this season. Just saying. Make sure to watch all the games this series and see which teams will earn their way into the finals, which start on June 1st. There are also only 4 teams remaining in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Dallas Stars have moved past the newcomer Seattle Kraken and will face the Las Vegas Golden Knights, who advanced after a 4-2 series win over the Edmonton Oilers. On the other side of the bracket, the Florida Panthers took out the Toronto Maple Leafs and have moved on to the next round to face the Carolina Hurricanes, who previously defeated the New Jersey Devils 4-1. The conference finals got underway last night with Game 1 between the Panthers and the Canes, and Game 1 between the Knights and Stars will be tonight at 5:30 p.m. The MLB season's still underway, F1's back this week with the Italian Grand Prix, the English Premier League has several matches this weekend, and on top of all that, we're lucky to have playoff hockey and basketball. There's zero shortage of sports to watch this weekend, and I hope you get to enjoy all of it. Be sure to come back next Friday for more news, highlights, and updates. I'm Cole Young, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Welcome back. Well, we have Elise Rothrock here on behalf of Village Management Services and an update on the Village Breeze. Well, welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
You know, it's amazing how much information you can cram into this little booklet here.
We try.
And it's nice, and you do. And, you know, thank you very much for making the print not too small, because most of the time, things that you read are just too darn small. So we appreciate the large print. What a beautiful shot here of a beautiful tortoise. Is that around here?
It is. It's in Aliso Creek.
Wow.
The photo was taken by Mark Rabinowitz, who does a lot of our cover photography, not on purpose, but he just shares with me his nature photography, and it's a lot of it is just so stunning. And you know, he's a great, happy springtime, getting out, getting some sun kind of guy.
Yeah, it's, you know, and it is an art. You know, we can take pictures all we want, but with our phones, and they do a lot of auto stuff for us, but his camera is fascinating. I mean, there's so many different things he can do with it.
Yes, it is professional grade for sure.
Yeah,
you know.
so I'm sure you'll see him out and about. He usually has a very long lens on his camera trying to get stuff far away. But this is a really, really great one. So, you know, let's talk a little bit about the Village Breeze. I know it's been quite a success.
It has been. I think it has really caught on with more passing time and more issues that come out. We get more feedback, and for the most part, it's very positive. And I'm glad to know that it's fulfilling a service here in the village and that people enjoy reading it and rely on it.
Well, exactly, and I know we try really hard for everybody to go paperless, and that's great for billing and things like that, and of course when you have your What's Up in the Village, these are just little bullet points of things, but when you really want to get into the, you know, meat of what's going on, this is a really nice thing to have, because I don't know if you're like me, but I get multiple emails in a day, and then this might have been one of them that would fall to the bottom of my email list. So this way, at least you can look at it, you can, you know, browse through it whenever you feel like it.
Exactly, and one of the reasons that we use great nature photography most of the time on the cover is the whole purpose was to have a really nice, striking, lovely image so that you could put it on your coffee table and keep it handy for when you might need to refer to something, or if you wanted to reread an article.
Well, exactly, and that's exactly what you've done. So let's talk about what's in this month's. Well, actually, it's it's May, June. So tell me what's in there.
So we have 3 great features. The first one is on the Orange County Fire Authority Station 22, and it's a history of how the station developed. And more interestingly, I think, is it talks about the history of pre-hospital care and the rise of how ambulances came to be, and how using that before people get to a hospital setting, how it changed mortality rates and outcomes and those kinds of things. It also talks about the village's first paramedic rescue team, and it's actually written by a VMS employee, Paul Matthews. And it's a really interesting historical little piece of information there. So,
well, you know, and the station really has been at the forefront of everyone's minds. They're talking about it in the boards, they're talking about it at VMS, and hopefully it will go forward and everything will be all right, and we'll be able to relieve some of Station 22's.
Yes.
And that's pretty much what I'm sure the article is also referencing. Is,
yes, the proposed new Station 12. I think it's 12.
Yeah,
yes.
and it's because I think the majority of their calls is falls and
That's
things
true.
that still require some medical treatment, but maybe not as significant as needing, you know, that particular engine or whatever the case might
That's
be.
right.
So this
That's
will be
right.
a good one, and it's closer too. So that's awesome.
Yes.
Okay, what else?
We have a feature on the Chicago Club. This club has been around since 1979, and as of last year, they had more than 1,000 members in the club. It started out as you had to be a Second City alum, you had to be a Chicago resident to join, but that hasn't been the case for quite some time. They have great events. They have entertainment events where they have a comedian or a magician open up before the headline entertainment. They also do these fabulous excursions on big liner buses to places like the Academy, the Museum Academy of Motion Pictures, the Getty Museum, Norton Simon Museum, the Pasadena Showcase House, the Peterson Automotive Museum. They just have so much great events to offer people, and it's all about how they came to be, and what they offer, and why somebody might want to join.
That's why there's 250 clubs here, because
I know.
there's
There's
just
a
so
lot of
many
clubs.
different ones that you can join, and you can be busy all the time. And yeah, the Chicago Club's great. They do provide a lot of different things. Now, streaming content, and this is going to be interesting subject matter coming up here over the next couple of years, really, because we are looking at our broadband system and making some significant changes. So what is it that they're talking about this time with streaming content?
The streaming content was written by Debbie Dotson, who, of course,
sure.
is the host of Let's Talk Tech.
Yes.
And it's basically a primary for people who may not be familiar with what streaming is and how they can take best advantage of it to get their media content.
Okay.
And it talks about the kind of high quality, high speed internet that you're going to need, which we have here in the village.
Yeah.
The different apps, how you can get started.
Okay.
It's basically a tutorial in a very friendly tone, so that, and it's encouraging that this is coming. Streaming is becoming more and more of a popular option among everyone.
Yeah.
And it just takes a little bit of know-how, and it's super simple.
Perfect. And it is needed too, because I was fortunate enough to buy a TV that had 3 little buttons on it. One says Prime Video, one says Netflix, and then one says your Samsung TV. So that's a smart TV. You just press any of those buttons and it brings you right to it. However, you do have to have the subscription to those,
That's right.
the Netflix and the Amazon Prime. But love those buttons.
Yes,
Then
it
you have
makes
to do all that
everything so
searching.
easy.
Yeah, so it's always nice when it's just a 1, 2, 3 thing, right?
Exactly.
All right, and then community connected. There's concerts and foundation, lots of stuff.
Yes, this is all content that's submitted by residents, and it's growing by leaps and bounds. I'm getting more and more submissions for it,
Good.
and I'm really enjoying putting that together. So yes, we're featuring information about community concerts,
Great.
A fall initiative, we mentioned falls earlier, between the Foundation of Laguna Woods and Memorial Care, and then some resident submitted photos, which are super cute.
Oh, I like that.
yeah.
It's kind of like when we had the COVID going on here, and I would do, it was like just in the village type of thing, and we would have residents talk about all the things that they did during COVID. It is kind of fun to see what they do. All right, so then you have columns that really run the gamut.
Yes, we have landscaping, we have maintenance and construction, we have resident services, recreation. We have 10 pages of recreation. The landscaping is interesting because per a new California law, landscaping operations are supposed to be phasing out certain pieces of maintenance equipment because they're so loud and the emissions. And it's all about how the village is addressing that situation. Resident services, we've run some information on when to contact resident services and when to contact other departments. Maintenance and construction has a really interesting column on how to deal with moisture intrusion events, and that's written by staff as well. So.
Okay. And then you have security and transportation, and well, you mentioned recreation, so
Yes.
all good. Perfect. Okay, excellent. So where can we find the Village Breeze?
You can find it all over the village in high visibility touch points, all the clubhouses, the recreation office, here in the community center, the village library, of course, a lot of different places where you can find it. Equestrian center, garden center, the golf pro shop, tennis clubhouse, lots of different places.
Now, you did mention that some people have been submitting ideas to you, so where should they do all of that?
All they have to do is email me at eliserothrock@vms.org, and I am happy to receive whatever people may want to share with other readers.
Fantastic, and that's elise.rothrock@vmsinc.org.
Yes,
Perfect.
and that's on the inside of on the editorial at the bottom as well.
Oh, okay, good. And then one other thing I think is great is that don't forget that the Village Breeze always has this fantastic map smack in the middle, and that way you know your way around, especially if you just moved here. So
That's right.
perfect.
That's right.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for the update. I appreciate it. Great job.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And if you want more information about our Village Breeze, or if you have a suggestion or content ideas, please email Elise at elise.rothrock@vmsinc.org. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Our movie for today is a classic movie, part of our Friday films, The Maltese Falcon. And you can see that today at 2 p.m. with subtitles, 6 p.m. without subtitles, brought to you by Hogue. Now, just a few announcements. If you would like to go to the Village Renaissance Fair, that's going to be held at the Equestrian Center, Saturday, May 20th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., and the tickets are $10 at the door. Complimentary drinks, you can have food for purchase. You can park at the upper parking lot, and they will have a shuttle to bring you to the event. Then also on Saturday is the Memorial Golf Tournament, and all the proceeds go towards the foundation of Laguna Woods Village. If you would like to participate, please go to lwmgc.org. The Video Club, you'll be able to catch this on Monday, June 5th from 1 to 3 p.m. in the Video Lab. Free popcorn. So just come on in, and that's located between Clubhouse 2 and the pool. And the PC Club is also going to be doing something. They are going to be having their annual picnic. It's going to be on Tuesday, June 13th in Clubhouse 7 at 5:30 p.m. And if you would like more information on that, you want to register online or in the PC workshop to find out more. Then we've got Father's Day, that's right around the corner, so get your reservations in right now because it will sell out. Sunday, June 18th, Clubhouse 5 at 11 a.m. You'll want to get in touch with Recreation, or you can get your tickets at the Clubhouse 5 box office. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our weather. Going to be partly cloudy, partly sunny throughout the rest of the weekend and into early next week. We are looking at temperatures 70-58, 73-57, 73-59, 69-58, and 67-57. If you're traveling, the beaches look comfortable at the temperatures of about 70. We are looking at local beaches 70-60, San Diego 70-61, Santa Barbara 71-57, Palm Springs 101-76, Tahoe 70-43, Big Bear 68-42, Mammoth 66-40, and Big Bear and Mammoth will both have thunderstorms, and Las Vegas 97-74. Have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on Village Television at 9 a.m. Bye-bye.